Yeah, part of the reason why the school is adopting gradual release of responsibility is because of the collaborative pieces, which, when Armin would be in here, we would, and we did the GRR, it would be, I became much better at it because of him, and we would kind of like tag team and go back and forth with the co-teaching. And it takes some, it takes some commitment mentally, and just flexibility wise to do that as a teacher. Because so many teachers are a bit, some teachers are rigid in what they're doing. And now, here at Monroe, they're going to need to be doing the gradual release, more collaboration. The average math teacher, I would say, is not really a collaborative type of thinker. Okay, the average teacher, once you release kids into a group, you're losing control, so to speak, mentally, if you look at it this way. Okay, and that I think is the reason why some people don't do it. They may try it once or twice and they say, oh, this was a disaster, and then they never try it again. And really, it takes practice just like anything else.
Exactly, adjustment.
Yeah.
Jimmy, this is really great. I like the effort you've put into it. It's very thorough. You hit the nail on the head. Things that, if I were in your place, some of the concepts are really clear. So basically, inquiry-based learning is nothing new in LAUSD. It's just not applied very often. So if you have time, check out if you check out the math instructional guides, a lot of those concept tasks kind of are the precursors to the Common Core. Things that are really hard to do. And those are basically, they say the devil's in the details. Things that are taught in university classes that are very hard to implement inside classrooms getting the kids interested is one thing. What is really a challenge inside is differentiated instruction. Differentiated instruction not only along knowledge lines, but also along language proficiency lines. So what I would further look into is the nuts and bolts of differentiation in the classroom. Because if you're planning on coming back and you're planning on teaching this, being a teacher, the things that I want to further your practice, differentiation, especially nowadays in the teaching and learning framework in LAUSD, using Charlotte Danielson's work on, because from the outside it looks very not simple, but it's when it's there, you see working with actual classrooms. One thing that we're doing here is monitoring of instruction. So like you said, teachers need to learn from their own classrooms. So the how is what kills us. The how is what kills educators in here. Inquiry-based learning, setting it up, how to teach the language objective, but also differentiating the questioning for the kids. So that is something that at this school we're starting to slowly move toward. So for example, a kid, RTI says you were successful at 80%, anywhere between 80 and 85% of the kids get what you're teaching. The hard part is, and we're figuring this out, is what do you do with the kid who doesn't? How do you move through the tiers of instruction? So the details, then your next step, if you want to make this possible, rubber meets the road, is to research those aspects of it. So I would observe a lot more of that. How do you, grouping of kids, how do you get kids to interact? That is a biggie. And I'm talking something beyond your Spencer Kagan strategies.
Right.
I mean, real practice. How do you do this? Differentiation instruction. So like you said, differentiated instruction not only along interest lines, But, for example, how do you differentiate the same question
Right.
to evoke thought in the kid who cannot multiply
Right.
and who's disengaged, and how to scaffold that same, or provide enrichment for that kid sitting in the back, but who knows the algebra backwards and forwards? How are you gonna challenge? So those are things that you, beyond this, I mean, the practitioner's knowledge is what you need to focus on if you want to take this to the further step, because this covers a whole wide range of topics. So now,
Right.
if you focus on, so for example, this one, right?
Right.
This idea of the basketball. Before you get to this, what are the steps for your class, for your English learners, or the kids? How are you going to walk them up to shooting the basketball? So what vocabulary words do you need to front load for these kids? How are you going to teach the vocabulary? So if you could plan, if you want to, for your own, planning it from A to Z, and finding, for example, we have teachers on this campus who have a really, really good, for example, Mr. Urban's classroom, he has an extremely good rapport with the kids. So if I wanted to observe somebody with good rapport, I would come and watch Mr. Urban. For graduate release, I would come and watch Mr. Urban. So find out who are the practitioners on campus who have a very good handle on differentiated instruction, differentiated questions. Observe them, see what their practice is, and then evaluate it with maybe Danielson's work. And then grouping, huge. Okay, we have teachers on campus who use Edmodo for the monitoring of instruction. So yeah, but this is great. What you've observed is really great, and yeah, and you had a very good rapport with the kids as well. So good job.
This